Happy new week, happy new week, traders. I believe you are doing well. We're going to look at the weekly analysis for this week. So, as we always do, we wait for Monday to play out and then we do our analysis. Why do we wait for Monday? We have to see how the market opens. We have to be able to see what the algorithm is planning to do using Monday's range. This is our economic calendar for this week. As you can see, yesterday on Monday, there was nothing much, just this GDP news. They didn't have that much impact. Our main focus again will be today, on Tuesday. You can see we have another GDP news and the USD news during New York session. And then on Wednesday, there isn't that much of activity on high impact news. Maybe there might be medium impact news when you look into the economic calendar. I'm just filtering using high impact news here. And then on Thursday, there is a lot of activity which will take place. I think this is the day which will have a lot of volume for this week, this Thursday. So the main highlights for this week will be Tuesday and then Thursday, and on Friday we also have PCE price index, the core PCE price index news. There are also high impact news. So let's get into the charts and see what this week has for us. As we always do, we are going to start with the dollar index. We have the USD pair here. We know that each and every pair is tied to the dollar. Whenever the dollar is going up, the foreign currencies go down. That's what it always does. It's always controlling whichever pair is tied to. As you can see here, price has been bullish all the way from the beginning of February, and then on March, price is coming down. You can see price formed a high here. It formed a high on January. This was the high on January, and this was the low of January here. Price took out January's low and then immediately trashed all the way up and took out its high here, and then it eventually took out February's high again on March here at the beginning of March. So both the high of January and February were taken at the beginning of this March month. Now price, after taking out this buy side liquidity, traded back inside to seek sell side liquidity below this low, and this low, and it managed to trade into this imbalance here. For quite a while the DXY has been bearish, and even right now I'm still bearish on the dollar. I'm still bearish. My focus now is this low here. That's where I'm looking to see price trade below. As you can see here, price formed this fractal high and low, and it has left this gap here and this imbalance here. which is recently reacting from it. So my focus will be to see if the DXY has some legs and some gears to be able to find its way into this area here before maybe it can decide to continue going down for this volume imbalance and this outside liquidity here. This is what I'm anticipating to see this week. I don't want to see price close above this imbalance here. If it does, there's a high chance that price might continue going up for this imbalance and then eventually that. But for now, I want to see it trade back up into this area here and give us a high of the week and then trade all the way down to take out the sell side liquidity below this low and the sell stops here. One thing that you have to notice is it can still continue going down from this gap here. It can just continue going down like it did here from this gap here. But I would love, truly speaking, I would just love to see it. I would love to see it trade back up into that place there and then trade all the way down into this volume imbalance here. So my main focus on the DXY is still the sell side liquidity here in this imbalance here and this one also. I'm still bearish on the DXY, which means I'll be buying the EU, I'll be buying the GU. So that's my anticipation on the DXY. Remember, anything can happen. That's just my view on it. I will be watching to see how price is going to react. If you take this range high and this range low, let's go into it. It's here, that's the middle point of it, the range high there, which is there. If you take that range high and low, that is the high, that's the premium part of it, and this is the discount of the range. You can see now price is still in discount. So what does price do in discount? Usually the algorithm would draw price from the discount area and allow it to trade into the premium area before it can allow those who know what's happening to put in their sell orders. So price is in discount now. There's a likelihood that price might trace back into the premium range and seek premium PDRAs to key off sell transactions and to sell to those who are willing to buy at a higher price. So that's why I'm looking for price action to confirm for me, to see if they can give us anything that can allow us to push to ride this trade into that imbalance there and then look for a sell setup there and then sell to this low, this imbalance and the sell side liquidity here. On DXY we are bearish, as you can see there. And then we'll be moving on to the Euro USD. The Euro USD has closed that CV which I talked about last week. We have hit the target, as you can see there. Price hit it and closed it nicely. And we have this SMT divergence. If you look carefully between the EU and the DXY, the EU didn't take out this low here, while the dollar index took out this high here. So that's a nice bullish accumulation on the Euro USD. That's why you see price breaking this structural high here and trading above it. So where do we expect price to go to? This is my focus, this high here. That's where my eyes are focused at. I want to see the EU trade all the way up and clear this high here. So is there a likelihood that price might just fail to go for that high? I will only abandon my idea of buying the EU up to that high if price closes below this gap here. If price decides to trade back into this gap and closes below it, that's when my idea will be abandoned. So if it does close below it, that's when it can look to take out the sell side liquidity here. But for now, I'm still looking for EU to trade to this buy side liquidity here. Firstly, it has to deal with this buy stops which are resting above that high there. And then after taking those buy stops, and then that's when it can run for this long-term high here. So there's a high likelihood of price coming back one more time into this big bullish order block, and even this gap. Price can just decide to come back in there. And then we might see it forming the low of the week and then continue going up. So that's what we'll be focusing on the EU during this week. I'll be looking to see if we can get this buy opportunities and trade in line with the order flow. And we have the GBP USD. This is the pound. Price took out the sell side liquidity here, went up, rallied up, broke structure here, formed a bullish breaker, and from the following imbalance came back to it, retested it, and then it expanded one more time, breaking structure above here, formed a bullish order block and a bullish following imbalance there, or just a following imbalance there. So my focus is still on this buy side liquidity here. I would love to see GU clear this buy side liquidity here. So we might see price just continuing from where it is to run for that liquidity, or if it follows what the DXY is doing, then we can have that one more time manipulation into the imbalance there. We might see price just manipulate one more time and expand all the way into that liquidity pool there, and expand into the liquidity pool. So that's our focus there. That's where I'm looking to see GU trade into that buy side liquidity there. First it has to go through this buy stops here and then come for that one, because order flow is bullish and everything is pointing to the upside. And we have gold. On gold, we have been bullish recently on gold. And with today's price action which took place, price just traded lower today, and we have this sell side liquidity here. While it's going down, it engineered this relatively core highs here. So we might just see gold trading below the sell stops here. We might see trade below the sell stops and then go all the way up to clear this buy side liquidity. If price decides to close below this black candle here, that's when we can look to see this gap being closed here. So if you go down to the 1 hour time frame, as you can see there, on the 1 hour time frame, we have let me just reduce the resolution, zoom out. We have the buy stops there, we have those clean highs, then we have the sell side liquidity here. So we have this Monday's high and Monday's low. So what rests below this Monday's low? Sell side liquidity. What rests above that? Buy side liquidity. And what is this? These are relative equal highs. So this is the previous week's low that we are seeing here, and that is the previous week's high. I want to see this gold trade all the way below this previous week's low here, and if price gives us anything from this level here, I'll be targeting this Monday's high, and then eventually this relative equal highs and this buy side liquidity. So keep in mind this level here. Keep in mind this level here. Price might just decide, if it fails to hold on to this level here, they might just decide to run for that gap which is resting below there. And let me just annotate it so that you can see it. If price fails at this level here, then I think that's where price will be heading to. But I'm looking to see the low of the week formed around that level, and then ride it all the way to this buy side liquidity. That's what I'm looking for on this gold pair. And we have the US 500. This one, the way it traded into this gap and closed it after trading above this sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. I don't think maybe it's done with this gap here. They might want to revisit it, but for it, I'm still watching to see if it still has the desire to continue going up for this buy side liquidity and then this gap here. That's what I'm still watching, and that's what I'm still observing. The way price has been trading, it seems to be a little bit more bullish. If the DXY is going to trade nicely up into this area and then sell off, then we might see this CS 500 trade playing out nicely and then coming back for this buy side liquidity here. So I'll be just watching it to see how it trades throughout this week. As long as the DXY is going to deliver, then I believe it will be able to reach for that buy stop, for those buy stops there. But if the DXY fails to trade below this low here, and maybe let's say it becomes bullish, that's when we can look for this S&P to run for this relative equal lows here, this low, and then also this low. But for now, I'm still bullish, and I'm expecting it to find its way to trade above this high and this buy side liquidity. And on Nasdaq, there's Nasdaq 2. I'm still bullish on Nasdaq 2. Price traded above this high here, and we still have beautiful price action on Nasdaq. I'm expecting it to retrace a little bit back into this shaded area here, and then I'll be watching to see if it has legs to run for those buy stops which are resting above that high. which are resting above that high there, which I just finished annotating now. If it has some steam which is left in it to run for this buy side liquidity after trading into this shaded area here, I'll be watching to see how it does things. I want to see it being held into this shaded area. The limit will be around the middle point of this wick here. That's the maximum point where I can tolerate the movement to the downside before it can continue going up. So for now, I'll be just watching to see how price will respond inside this shaded area and into the middle point of this wick here. But for now, I'm still bullish on Nasdaq and I want to see that high being taken out. And this we have the JPN 225. So this is an index too. It's an index. This is a Nikkei 225 index. So I want to see it trade into that fair value gap. That's where I'm focusing on. My aim is to see it run all the way back into this fair value gap. As you can see here, we have a gap here which is so open and clear. So I want to see price being drawn into that gap there. That's my target for it for this week. Yeah, that was the review which I had for this week. I'll be monitoring price to see if there is any change. If there is any change in the trend or anything happens, then I'll update you. This is just what we are anticipating, but price action always wins. It always wins. It always wins. So if price action tells us otherwise in the coming days, then we have to adjust and change our bias to and move with what price is telling us. So we shouldn't just be stagnant and be ignorant of what the price action will be telling us on each and every day of trading. That's what I had for you today, and I hope this analysis will help you to plan your trades and frame your setups for the coming days and for this week. Remember, we are bearish the dollar, which means all these foreign currencies, this EU, GU, will be looking to buy them, and also there's a highly likelihood to see the US 500, the Nasdaq, and the US 30 to follow what EU and GU are doing by buying, because the dollar will be selling. And yeah, that's all I had for you today. I hope you'll be able to study this week and to make more pips through your trading. And if you haven't started trading, you can just keep learning and following this analysis, and when you get the chance to be able to start trading, you can apply what you have learned through this analysis into your trading, and you can be able to do it on your own. Thank you very much for being part of this group and for being part of this community.